Brace yourselves. Trailer review and reactions are coming. Okay, second trailer for Game of Thrones Season 7. At this point, you're just teasing me, HBO. Just give me the whole season. Come on.
Don't fight in the north or the south. Fight every battle, everywhere. Always. In your mind.
Great opening monologue by Littlefinger, and it harkens back to what he tells Raz in Season 1, how he's going to play the game, that he's not going to fight them with his sword, he's going to fuck them with his mind. He's going to mind fuck them. Might not necessarily be directed towards Sansa, it could be directed towards Jon, but it's interesting because this is a character that was under Littlefinger's wing. Littlefinger really teaches her how to play the game. That's what he was doing with her at the Vale until he married her off to Ramsay. I'll never understand. Sansa really is becoming one of the best players for the Starks. It's similar to Arya, where honor is not going to get in the way of her protecting herself and her family. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic between her and Jon and how they rule the North. Now this is a shot that we saw in the first trailer, the opening of the gate to go through the wall, and then we get a shot of Jon, and it looks like he's got a couple of his men with him. This is what we saw in the first trailer as well. Jon going past the wall with some of his men. I think it's going to be Tormund, maybe a couple of the Wildlings, and probably the Brotherhood without banners. King's Landing and the common folk are greeting the Gold Cloaks. We saw the way Season 6 ended. Cersei Lannister isn't necessarily the most popular ruler in Westeros. She did murder a bunch of innocent people. This city is going to be under siege, similar to Season 2 during the battle at the Blackwater when Stannis Baratheon invaded, so they're getting ready for another battle. What's really cool about this scene, Daenerys is in the war room at Dragonstone, and this table, this map of Westeros that sits upon the table, was actually built by Aegon the Conqueror 300 years prior to Game of Thrones. This is where Aegon planned his invasion of the Seven Kingdoms, so history repeating itself. This is a recurring shot throughout the trailer, people on boats at Dragonstone, and there's a moment later in the trailer where it appears that Davos and Jon are at Dragonstone on the beach, so this could be that same scene, maybe a meeting between Jon and Daenerys. Arya in northern garb, riding a horse, returning home. That's what she said she was going to do at the end of Season 6. It's going to be interesting to see how they utilize Arya's new skill as a faceless assassin. This can be very valuable. Obviously, Arya is a trained killer. She's trained by some of the best assassins in all of the world. So it's going to be interesting to see how the remaining Starks view Arya. Will she reveal her new power to become a doppelganger of any living human? Jaime Lannister in King's Landing. It looks like there's a dead body right there. So this could be during maybe the siege of King's Landing, maybe Daenerys' siege. Obviously, Jaime isn't playing around. It's unknown how nice he is with his left hand, but he ain't that good, right? He's kind of sucking. This is a shot that we saw in the first trailer with Littlefinger. And, you know, he's creeping behind the wall. This is what Littlefinger does. It's Littlefinger, Littlefingering. I think this shot is in the Crypts of Winterfell. In the first trailer, we see a confrontation between Jon and Littlefinger in front of Lyanna's tomb. We now know that Lyanna is Jon's mom. Maybe Littlefinger deduced who Jon's parents really are? I don't know. It sounds a little impossible to me. Maybe he found Rhaegar's harp. That's a whole nother theory, that Lyanna was buried with Rhaegar's harp as a clue to who Jon really is. Yeah, we'll see. If anybody's going to find out, it's Littlefinger. Or Varys. Stay tuned for our Littlefinger vs. Varys video. In the first trailer, Cersei says enemies to the south, and then they show this, so I figured it was one of the Dornish cleaning their spears. We haven't seen a lot of Dornish in these trailers. Daenerys Targaryen once again walking on the beaches at Dragonstone. I do think this relates to the meeting where we had the boat earlier in the trailer coming onto the beach, and then we hear a Jon Snow monologue. For centuries, our families fought together against our common enemies. So this is the plea that he's going to make to Daenerys, like, take the Iron Throne, but we need you up north. We need your dragons, okay?
Our families fought together.
Then we see Daenerys approaching a banner with the Baratheon sigil on it, the stag of Baratheon, and she yanks it down. Dragonstone was unoccupied, so not that hard to take. Then we get the three big boys. We get Drogon, Rhaegal, and Viserion. Some bonding time between brothers. This would be interesting if this is the same scene where Jon and Davos come to meet Daenerys and then the three dragons just show up. Actually, there's a shot later in the trailer that kind of confirms that all these scenes are connected.
Despite their differences, together.
And we get Tyrion overlooking the beach at Dragonstone. A lot of shots at the beach at Dragonstone. I think this really is going to be the meeting between the two families, Stark and Targaryen.
We need to do this.
And we get Theon, and it looks like he's in the middle of a battle on the sea. In the first trailer, I said that it looked like he was somewhere in the north, that he was surrounded by snow, and everybody commented and said, well, you're an idiot, because that's obviously fire. And what's funny is I made my correction in the first trailer. I re-recorded it and said, oh, he's probably on a boat in the middle of a battle, and I never put it in. So I looked like an idiot twice.
Damn if we're gonna survive.
This looks like it could be Lannisport, because there's a couple shots in this trailer and the first trailer where the Unsullied are storming Casterly Rock, and it's the first time that we've seen Casterly Rock on screen, so this is probably an attack from the sea.
Because the enemy is...
Brienne is a character that I really hope goes north with Jon and the Brotherhood in Season 7, because she's got the Valyrian Steel Sword, she's got Oathkeeper, the sword that was melted down from ice and forged into these two Valyrian Steel Swords by Tywin. So I really want to see Brienne go off on some White Walkers, and it's good that she's back north. And Podrick, I just want to find out what he did to those prostitutes.
real.
Then we get a shot of the Hound, who has gone north with Jon as well. We know that the Hound joined the Brotherhood in Season 6. He wants to redeem himself. This is the revelation that he began with Brother Ray, where Brother Ray tells him, listen, even if you've done a lot of bad in your life, you can still do good. And the Hound versus White Walkers, how awesome would it be for Jon to bring the Brotherhood north, and the Hound and Brienne are fighting side by side against White Walkers? Oh, come on, HBO, make it happen. We saw a lot of shots like this in the first trailer where the Dothraki were fighting against the Lannister men. This is probably the battle for King's Landing. We could see some fire there in the background. There's a couple shots later in this trailer where the field is just completely on fire, and you could see them charging into battle, Dothraki versus the Lannisters. Similar shot to what we got in the first trailer where it was this epic battle at the sea. And I think this battle at the sea is going to be between the good Greyjoys, Euron, and the bad Greyjoys, Yara and Theon. I think this battle is going to take place near Pike. It's basically going to be a battle for the Iron Fleet, and I think Euron is going to be victorious. Now you can see there's fire everywhere, so we don't know how the dragons are going to play into this battle. In the books, Euron does possess a horn called Dragonbinder that can control dragons. So we don't know if they're going to introduce that in the show. There hasn't been any backstory for it, but I wouldn't even care if they just shove it in and say, hey, look, Euron can control dragons. I think that would be awesome. See Jaime and Bronn back there. This looks like the same battle from before, the Field of Fire battle, which I'm calling it, the modern day Field of Fire, between the Lannisters and the Dothraki, the battle for King's Landing. I love how Bran is really embracing his role as the new Three-Eyed Raven, and in this shot he's scouting the army of the dead using this army of ravens, and you can see him work in and out. And I love the Night King's face. He's like, hey, get out of here, you wacky warg. And in the next shot, we see Bran with his Professor X wheelchair. Look at the third wheel. Are you kidding me? That's fresh. So I think it's safe to assume Bran will be returning to Winterfell, because who hooked him up with that wheelchair? Now, that old man right there, I think that could be Howland Reed. I think Bran is going to send Mira back to the Neck and say, listen, I saw some crazy shit. I just saw my dad, Howland Reed, kill Arthur Dayne. Then Ned goes up to the Tower of Joy and gets a baby from his sister, Lyanna, and that baby is Jon Snow. I need to confirm this, and the only living person who was with Ned at the Tower of Joy is Howland Reed.
It's always been real.
Ooh! Beric Dondarrion returns with his flaming sword. Now this shot, no, we have to admit that will never be as cool as Beric Dondarrion with a flaming sword. Now, this character is very interesting because in the books he gives his own life to resurrect Catelyn after the Red Wedding. Maybe they use this character to bring somebody back from the dead in Season 7. We'll see one of our favorite characters fall, and Beric gives that character the kiss of life. That's what they call it. Raise that character from the dead. The Iron Fleet sailing to Westeros. This could be before or after that major sea battle. I think it's after. I think that Euron is going to defeat his niece and nephew, destroy them, take their ships, and then sail to King's Landing and tell Cersei, hey, let's team up. You know, you need my ships if you're going to have a chance against the Dragon Queen. You need my ships if you're going to have a chance. And that's really the only alliance that the Lannisters can form. We saw a lot of this in the first trailer, the storming of Casterly Rock. We haven't seen Casterly Rock yet in the show or in the books, so a lot of shots at the beach in this trailer. Now what the hell is going on here? We have Jaime Lannister by himself, the modern-day Field of Fire. That's what I'm calling this. This has to be the Battle of King's Landing. You see dead soldiers lying on the floor, and he's just completely alone, charging into battle. Who is he going to attack? Is he trying to square up with one of the dragons? This looks like the last hurrah for the Lannisters, and I don't think Jaime or Cersei get out of Season 7, so what a great shot. Once again, the battle at the sea, and there's an explosion, so I'm thinking a dragon has to play into this some way. If they bring in that dragon horn, man, I will be very excited. Now, I don't know if he's fighting a White Walker or a White here. It looks like he's just fighting a White, but it would be really cool to see Tormund squaring up with a White Walker, but could be deadly. Jon is the only one of them with a Valyrian steel sword. The only other one is Brienne, and I don't know if he's going to bring her north, so you never know in Game of Thrones who's going to get knocked off. Somebody's going to die north of the wall. Multiple people could die. This is probably the beginning of that battle where we saw Jaime charging in. Daenerys on the back of Drogon, there she is, charging into battle with her Dothraki horde, the battle for King's Landing. It's just, this is what we've been waiting for, man. 6 years waiting for this moment to see Daenerys charge in, take out the Lannisters, get the revenge for the Starks. Even though I kind of like the Lannisters now, that's the genius of this show. Gives me such a headache. But I hope she's got a saddle on the back of that dragon. Come on, give her a saddle. Give her a cool saddle. Now, this doesn't really confirm my theory that there's going to be a dragon involved in the battle at the sea between the Greyjoys, but they are looking up, right? They're looking up. Maybe they're looking up at a dragon thinking, oh my god, he got control of a dragon. And look, another gust of fire there. That looks like it could be shot out from a dragon, right? Like, or is that a catapult? I don't know. Comment below and yell at me. Now this. Oh. Jon Snow leading the crew. You got, it looks like the Hound is to his right, Tormund's behind him, Beric with the burning sword. And Jon is overlooking this sea of whites thinking, what the hell did I get myself into? How the hell are we going to beat these guys? I don't know how this is going to work. What are they, just going to rub up against each other? I mean, come on, right? Am I right? Tyrion, a lot of shots in this trailer of Tyrion kind of like staring at things in the distance. He's contemplating, okay? At first, I thought maybe this was the sorcerer that Varys captured because of the crate. Like, he got out and he had a sword, and he's like, I'm coming for you, Varys. I'm going to take your fingers now. But I have no idea who this is. I can't put an identity to this character. I think this shot connects with all the shots that we've seen of Dragonstone and the beach at Dragonstone, where Jon is going to meet with Daenerys and try to convince her to come north. There was a monologue earlier in this trailer where he says, our families used to fight together against their common enemies. There's a shot a little later in this trailer that I think could also tie all these beach scenes together. Now this was cool. Jon against a White Walker, round 2. He's probably like, you killed my brother. That was my brother from Crasta, you bastard. I don't think the White Walkers talk with accents or talk at all. But yeah, Jon's got the Valyrian steel. It clanks against the White Walker spear. The White Walkers are going to play a big role in this season. They get a shot of, looks like Lannister men riding through the fire, riding through the dragon fire. This is probably the same shot from earlier where we see Jaime riding in the field of fire. Now this looks like Theon here, that he's also on the beach. A lot of beach. And you know, he's had a tough life, so nice relaxing day on the beach. Now this is clearly Dragonstone behind Drogon here, and he looks great. I mean, the CGI that they do on this show, that it looks so realistic for a TV show. This is the benefit of only doing 7 episodes where you still have the budget you had in season 6. You know, you can spend more money on big battles and the CGI. This could be the meeting between Daenerys and Jon, and Drogon drops in and he's like, what up? And then he kind of sniffs him and he's like, oh my god, I think I sense some Targaryen midichlorians. And then we get the final shot where we get the quote about the lone wolf dies and the pack survives. I don't know who this is on the horse. It could be Jon, it could be Arya, it could be one of the Starks, I'm not sure. But yeah, this is once again Jon and his crew, and they're all lined up and they're getting ready to scrap. And then the final shot. Woo! You see all the whites? They're grilling him. They're like, damn, yo, what are you doing? Oh, this is going to be so good. Game of Thrones, the new season. Thank you, HBO. Thank you. I love you. I love you, George. I hate you, D&D. 23 days, man. 23 days until the new season. Comment below, yell at me for all the things that I got wrong, because I definitely got a bunch of them wrong. I just want to let you guys know, in anticipation of Game of Thrones, starting July 9th, we are going to drop a Game of Thrones themed video each night, the week leading up to the Season 7 premiere, so be on the lookout for those. Starting July 9th, 7 nights, 7 kingdoms, 7 videos, because we just love doing this. We love talking Game of Thrones. And thanks for watching. Oh, and remember,